Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to TwilioQuest Tuesday. For those of you who keep track of our complicated week-to-week schedule, you may be expecting to see Kerry with an art stream, but alas, it is I, Joe, here for you with a little bit of a little bit of an occasion. We're doing house cleaning today. Chat. We're doing some spring cleaning, even though it is not yet spring. A little bit of cleaning out for the new year, a little bit of getting things ready to party for 2023. So let's bring in some space. Let some space into the picture. I hope you're doing well. If you are new here, welcome to TwilioQuest Tuesday. TwilioQuest is Twilio's free educational video game that helps you learn to code. And here on TwilioQuest Tuesday on Twitch and on YouTube, we cover aspects of the broader TwilioQuest cinematic universe. We show you how the game is made, we talk about how other games are made, we talk about our educational programs, we do pixel art, all kinds of fun TwilioQuest related things. And today, we're going to be talking about that schedule. TwilioQuest, this start, we're talking about what TwilioQuest Tuesday is, and how this show has worked. We have streamed pretty much every single Tuesday, for the last 2 years. It's been a long time now that we've had this Tuesday schedule, and that's changed a little bit. But for most of last year, we had a rotating cast of different people from the TwilioQuest team, doing different shows, what we call segments, around what they do here on Team TwilioQuest. So Ryan, for example, does the dev stream, where he talks about, being the developer for TwilioQuest and writing code for the game and other games. I do the education stream where we talk about our education programs and design some of the educational content for some of the levels. Kerry did the pixel art stream, etc. Right? And that kind of came about because we wanted to show off as much of the team's varied talents and abilities as possible, and keep up streaming every Tuesday. Because TwilioQuest Tuesday is an important tradition. And we're kind of taking some time to think about what this stream means and why people view it, what we want to do with it for 2023. And so I thought I would bring that to the screen today, to lay down some of our plans, to work on some of those plans. Regular viewers know me. I love to do my actual work on stream, because it makes it much harder to procrastinate. And so we're going to be doing some of that today. Chat, we're going to be doing some of that. Sorry, I need to open up some stuff. Yeah. So there's, I guess, like two main parts to this. Is going to be talking about our schedule, because although we're live at the same time every Tuesday, every week is different content in a month. So we have typically had a 4 to 5 week rota, because most months have 4 weeks, some have 5. One of them has 3. Number of Tuesdays within a month. That is. Number of Tuesdays in a month. So we've typically maintained a 4-week rota, and then we have this odd dangling month. And it's been hard for the viewers to understand that rota, because it's a weird thing. And knowing that, like, hey, I am interested in the contents of this Twitch channel every 3rd week is weird. So we're going to work on that. Oh, Memphis in the viewers tab. Hey, Memphis. So we're going to work on the schedule out in the open, and then it's there. We'll talk about a little bit about some of the things we're thinking of doing, and if anyone wants to input on things they would like to see on this stream, that would also be incredibly helpful, and would help us steer it in the right direction for the rest of the year. Code and Like Girl, hello! So good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I don't know when you joined, so just to catch you up, this would normally be the pixel art stream, but we are cleaning house here in TwilioQuest land this week. It is 2023. We have been doing Tuesday Twitch streams now for almost 2 years, and we're going to mix it up a bit. We're going to change our schedule. We're going to bring out some new shows, and we're going to be changing how we do shows. So this stream is what you could call an intermission. We are halfway between our old schedule and our new schedule, and so I wanted to come and bring you all what we're thinking of for our new schedule and the shows we're thinking of doing on the new rota, the new calendar. See what you would like to see from us at Team TwilioQuest. And yeah, see how that all goes down. Hey, Dark Celestis, thank you for joining us. Hey, Memphis, hey, Surly Dev. All the crew in chat. Oh, there seems to be some audio and video desync. That's alarming. Is anyone else noticing that? Would be great to know. It's highly possible. My setup, as ever, is layers of jank. It looks okay for me. Looks like it's just you, Surly. You know what? If you go to the settings on your Twitch viewer and you go to advanced, try ticking the low latency mode or unticking the low latency mode, whichever way around you want it to be. So in the little settings wheel on the Twitch player, if you go to advanced, there's a low latency mode toggle. Flicking that back and forth will usually deal with audio sync issues. Okay, let's bring up the screen. Alrighty, so perfect. An experienced Twitch viewer is Surly Dev. Before we can talk about where we're going, let's talk about where we are. So, TwilioQuest Tuesday, as I said, has had a roughly 4-week rota. We stream on every Tuesday, and so we have tried to kind of have this month-by-month schedule where every Tuesday of the month is a different show, but then obviously sometimes there are months really inconveniently that have 5 Tuesdays, and so we have this dangling show. But the schedule thus far for the last probably 6 months has been the art stream. I don't need to put stream after every one of them because it's obviously a stream. We're talking about a stream schedule. It's been art, has been press X to learn. It has been the dev stream, and it has been the edu stream. That has been kind of the schedule for the last 6 months. And then the 5th Tuesday, this dangling Tuesday, has kind of been, I don't know, just kind of whatever. Sometimes it's been special guests, sometimes it has been like today, where it's just me rambling at you. It's been all over the place, that last one. Oh. Okay. My screen just reset there, apparently. Maybe it's the beard putting me off. Looks thicker this week. I don't know why that would be. It's just, it grows. It does its own thing. Maybe it's because I've got dramatic lighting on today. Okay. So apparently my screen share dropped. I hope it's back now. So yeah, this has been the schedule to date. So let's run through these shows a little bit and talk about what they all are, because I don't know if everyone has seen all of these shows. I don't know if everyone's familiar with all these shows. So the art stream was so yeah, as I was kind of saying, like the intention of our schedule was to keep a show up every Tuesday because we like the space, we love hanging out with y'all in chat. It's a thing that I certainly look forward to every Tuesday, and it gives us a time and a place where we know we're always hanging out with our community, which is wonderful. And then we wanted to kind of use it to showcase different aspects of TwilioQuest development. So the art stream is a prime example where Kerry, the artist on the team, would come and do some pixel art live on stream. TwilioQuest is, it might surprise you to learn, a pixel art game in terms of art style, and Kerry is the artist that produces that. And so Kerry would often come and do various pixel art assets on the stream. So that was always the first Tuesday of the month, and then second Tuesday is Press X to learn. And this one is like, I guess, one of the ones that is a little bit off into the woods, in that Press X to learn is a show about other games in TwilioQuest genre, so like other coding games, other educational games, and Ryan and I play them and we talk about them. And the purpose of that is first and foremost because we, like other games and we want to know what's out there. We found it really useful in terms of, being able to talk about how other coding games do what they do. There's lots of challenges that TwilioQuest has, or that we have building TwilioQuest, that we're not the first people to encounter those challenges, right? And so lots of these games do those things better than us, or do them in different ways. And so that's what Press X to Learn was made to do, was to give us an excuse to talk about that. But then has also been really fun content. We've got to meet a load of really cool devs. We've had other devs from other games come onto the show and talk to us. Got to meet people who make Minecraft, which is just really cool. And I think it's one of the shows that has a clearer identity, right? What's happening on Press X to Learn. Aside from Pixel, obviously that's very clear identity, but what's happening on Press X to Learn. It has a purpose. It has a thing. Whereas these last two are two of the ones that I think we most want to change, to remix, to find a replacement for. So the dev stream originally started as anyone working on dev on TwilioQuest would come on and stream some TwilioQuest development. But the problem with developing a real product that's used by actual people is your development is not always interesting to stream. And so Ryan has found that on and off a bit of a struggle to turn up and do cool stuff with, which has led to some other things. I think this was Surly's doing, in fact. That a couple of weeks ago, Ryan made a sliding puzzle game in JavaScript. I think it was Surly that suggested that. And so it's kind of ends up being random code related stuff. And that's very similar to the Edu stream. So the Edu stream was originally intended to be, talking about our educational initiatives, but they're pretty stable now. I've been here nearly 2 years. So I struggle to bring new stuff every Tuesday to that. So it's kind of become a random thing where, sometimes I'd be working on my TwilioQuest multiplayer extension, or working on the content for a new level, or talking about how we are thinking about new content, and just or running through what was that, we were working on the workshop for a hackathon during one of them, all kinds of random stuff. The symbol matching game, yes, that's it, and the TwilioQuest art icon, yeah. So parts of this have worked, part of it has not worked, or has not felt consistent. So I think the fact that half the schedule has been so random has partly been what's made it very hard for people to grasp the schedule. It's very easy to say, hey, Press X to Learn is the second Tuesday of every month. But if I were to say, hey, the dev stream is the third Tuesday of every month, or the edu stream is the fourth Tuesday of every month, what does that mean? Well, what can you as the viewer anticipate that you will see on those days, aside from Joe and Ryan, right? Who will be there, you don't know exactly what you're watching. And so we want to mix it up. We want to change that thing. We want to change that a bit. And also we're going to rotate the cast out a little bit. The TwilioQuest team is a lot more than is being represented in the schedule so far. And as I said, we've been doing this nearly 2 years now, and so some of the folks who've been streaming would like some of their Tuesday time freed up. These streams take a surprising amount of effort to prepare sometimes. Obviously not this one. But some of them take a surprising amount of effort to prepare, and so we are going to move to a slightly different setup. So we are looking to experiment with some ways of doing things, and some things that draw on the things that I guess kind of worked best from this past 6 months, and the things, and this is kind of why I wanted to do this on the stream, the things that you as viewers have enjoyed most, I think. So first up, one thing we are starting with is we are going to be moving to seasons. We're moving to seasons of things. What does that mean? So as we kind of said, this we have streamed now for every Tuesday for nearly 2 years, and aside from Margaret's special event streams that used to happen on a recurring basis, the schedule has been the schedule, right? These shows kind of run on forever. Press X to Learn is there every Tuesday, and we will keep coming up with content every Tuesday, right? We will keep finding new games to talk about every Tuesday. Same with the art stream. And that is really like challenging as a content format because like it makes it hard to do longer term projects because like, you know, what you're doing week to week needs to be coherent for someone dropping in randomly. It kind of like you're always, especially with Press X to learn, like, you know, we're very conscious that we've seen certain types of games over and over again, or like, you know, we might have learned all that we can learn from a certain type of game. And eventually we're going to run out of companion games to talk about, right? And so what happens then? So what we want to move to is an idea of a like a short batch of shows. You know what a season is. You watch TV. We're getting bigger, too big for our boots, chat. We've decided that now we're Disney, and we're gonna do things in seasons. That's how we're gonna work things. So we're gonna have a short batch of shows that will run, you know, four episodes or so. We will announce that in advance. Schedule will be announced. There will be a goal to the show. We'll run it, and that will happen. And once it's done, that show may or may not come back for a second season, right? So if you imagine that with Press X to Learn, we'll say like, hey, the next 4 episodes of Press X to Learn are looking at this particular genre of games. At the end of that, Press X to Learn is over for that season. Stay tuned for what's next, right? And part of the idea of doing this is it will allow us to do kind of like more coherent starting and ending kind of situations, right? Like I'm using Press X to Learn a lot because it's like the only show in the schedule currently that I'm involved with that has any planning. And we've thought a lot about this. You may like in doing it. So like you may have noticed in Press X to Learn that like we have kind of done genres of games, and then stopped doing that genre. So like we started doing Zachtronics games, right? And Zach-alikes. So we started with the Zachtronics games, and then other games that are kind of in that similar style, Signal State, that kind of stuff. And now we've moved on from those. And that was partly accidental. But we thought it was quite interesting. And we had Zach come and talk to us, and we had another developer who makes Zachtronics, Zach-like, come and talk to us. And so we were kind of thinking like, hey, it would have been great if this was intentionally planned. And we said like, hey, in Press X to Learn, we're doing this type of game. We'll start off by playing one, then we'll talk to a developer about how they made it. We'll look at another one, and then we'll round off with what we've learned from this genre. Call it, close the book on that type of game, and then move on, right? And it's very hard for us to do that right now, but it will be easier with seasons. So don't you just wing the rest of them? Like, it's hard to describe. I mean, certainly I think you've streamed a bit, so like you know how it is, but like there's huge gulfs in planning, right? Like, and also to be clear, I guess like actually I'm just gonna talk about this for a bit, because I know we have some stream curious folks in our Discord at least. One of the like streaming has some really interesting properties, right? As a content form. And one of those interesting properties is that like it's relatively easy to show up with a notion of what you want to do, and if you're comfortable on stream, to be able to make 90 minutes of content from that, right? Like, you know, if I were to go grab Craig right now, right? Like Craig Dennis, Twilion, member of the TwilioQuest team, does great educational videos, and I just literally like said to him like, Craig, get on stream right now and talk to us about APIs, right? Like that would be the most amazing 90 minutes of APIs you ever watched. It'll be entertaining, I'm sure it'll be funny, I'm sure it'll be educational. And sometimes we do, you know, we can't just do that, right? Especially for the edu and the dev streams, like my prep or Ryan's prep will be as far as knowing that we want to talk about this vague topic on the day, and because of you, the viewers, because of the interactions with chat, because of, you know, knowing something about that topic and having a rough idea, we can make something happen. That's not always the case for Press X to Learn, or streams like that, right? Like we going into that, you know, the whole point of that stream is we are doing something we're not familiar with. We don't know that game, right? Like the whole point is we're going to play this game, and see what we can learn from it. And so, so that requires a little bit more prep because we play a lot of games on that. And so, we want to make sure the game is appropriate before we play it, before we bring it to the stream. So, that does require us, and this is going to sound like a joke, but like that does require us to prep in terms of like, going and playing the game. And then you'll be like, oh, woe is you, you have to prep, you have to go play a game. But like, that's still a couple of hours of prep for a stream. That's different to what we do here. So that's one type of prep as well, like actually making sure you have the content. The guests is yet another type of prep where like, we want the guests to have a good time, and we want to make sure that, we ask them interesting questions. So like with our guest driven shows, like we do a lot of research. Some of our documents for our interviews are quite frankly creepy, the amount of depth that we go in terms of putting together questions for them. If you've put something interesting on the internet and I'm interviewing you, I will find your deepest, darkest internet artifacts to see if there's a good thing to talk about there. And so that takes a lot of work. But that's all kind of, like before a particular show. Like the planning the longer arc is the thing we don't do at all, right? We do all these kinds of preps for our current shows, but it's been hard for us to like do preparation over a longer span of time. Like, Press X to Learn is like week by week. Like the dev stream is whatever's happening at the time. The edu stream is whatever happening at the time. And what we'd like to be able to move to is being able to say like, for the next 4 weeks, you will be seeing this stuff happen, right? And that's a level of like prep we haven't been able to do that I think will make it easy. I think it'll make it better for you as a viewer, like to know, like the biggest struggle for me, I think and I don't, you're the viewers, you're the people who watch, let me know in chat. Like, I don't want you to be thinking, I don't want you to be like considering what you're going to watch on Twitch at 9 a.m. on your Tuesday, right? Tuning into our stream and being like, oh, I could have watched something better. Like, we want you to know we want you to like be able to look at our calendar and go, I want to see this event, I want to see that event. I'm not that fussed about that one, right? That's kind of what we want to happen. And I think that's important for you being able to, trust the stream. I think when people stop watching is when they tune into something and aren't interested, and have no reassurance that things in the future will be interesting, right? So we want to, that's kind of what we're aiming at. Sally says, I put plenty of things on the internet. I hope if you do find the deepest, darkest stuff, it's on the later stream than this one. Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me, Sally. Just, we can never book an interview. If that ever did happen, Surly, the whole interview would just be about those. I think it was like 4 streams in a row when you came into chat and asked me where Margaret was. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. That's kind of the goal. So that's why we want to do seasons. That's why, and the other reason is to give us time to plan. So with seasons, as well as having the format available to be able to say we're doing this for 4 weeks and knowing what that is, at the end of it saying, like, okay, now we're done with that. That might be coming back, but in the meantime, here's something else. Lets us plan for the next sort of stuff that's coming. Whereas now it's kind of an endless treadmill, right? Like, and it's an endless treadmill with a month in between each time. So really, there's no excuse in us for not prepping. But it is a lot. It is a lot. Surly, Margaret is managing what I'm sure is a group of very happy developers. Okay. So that's seasons. That's number 1. And then we have the I guess like uncovered content. The other thing about having this fixed schedule is like there's a lot of TwilioQuest you don't see. For example, when was the last time you saw Craig Dennis? You haven't seen Emily on stream. You haven't seen, I mean, Nicole hosts Kerry sometimes, but you haven't seen a whole bunch of the team. And because of this fixed schedule, it can be hard to let people rotate in and out of the schedule, right? Like, and that's very kind of you, Kodiak. Really appreciate it. Yes, I think so too, Surly. So yeah, it makes it very hard right now to bring people in and out of the stream, to do new streams, to bring more of the team on. And they have great things as well, right? Like we have like the programs that Craig works on, that Craig and Emily work on, Superclass and the Signal keynote, and Nicole's writing work, and general shepherding of the narrative of the lore, is all super interesting stuff. But just like weird to fit into our current schedule. So again, by going to the seasonally thing, we'll be able to allow people to have their time on the stream without it being a 2-year commitment that they sign up to, right? Surly says, what teams are there on TwilioQuest? It would be good to have a theme. Like one team talk to the artist, next talk about audio, then about the project management. Let's talk about this. I don't think anyone on the team is like incognito. If anyone in the team like doesn't want to be revealed as like working on the team, like you have approximately 20 seconds. Why won't my mouse do the thing it's meant to do? You have like approximately 20 seconds to stop me doing this. But let's talk about the TwilioQuest team. Sorry, let's be accurate. Surly. It's not the TwilioQuest team anymore. It is Twilio Education. We are Twilio Education. And under Twilio Education, we have some buckets. We have yeah, exactly. 20 seconds to you. May you forever hold your peace, or I'm about to put your home address and correspondence information on the internet. No, don't worry. So we have buckets. We have TwilioQuest. Literally everyone on the team has been on the stream. Like I'm being dramatic. We have training. One of these boxes is like far bigger than it needs to be, and we have institutional edu, which is a stupid title and not really used. Let me make this box wider. Okay, so TwilioQuest. This is how the Twilio Education team works. Hello, Tranjeev. Tranjeev, just to catch you up, we are currently talking about our streaming plans for 2023, how we want to change things, and we're just taking a brief detour as we were talking about like who could stream, who does stream. Taking a brief detour to talk about Twilio Education. Yes, Surly. So Twilio Education is the team that TwilioQuest sits in. And although everyone on this team contributes to TwilioQuest, not always every day, it's not always their core job, but I'll talk about more of that in a minute. So, TwilioQuest, the core TwilioQuest team, the core people who work on TwilioQuest, is Kerry, who would normally be streaming here, Ryan, and Nicole. At the moment, there has been other people working on it in the past. Memphis is in chat. But currently, we have Kerry, Ryan, and Nicole. And that represents... Kerry is art and level design. I haven't made this boxes big enough. I'm going to put just art, but it's art and level design. Ryan is dev. And Nicole is, again... I'm going to put lore because it will fit in there, but Nicole is our narrative designer. So that's the core TwilioQuest team. Tranjeev noticing the important details. I never mentioned I had adjustable height desk. Tranjeev being like, I normally can't see that top row of books. What's going on? So I am in standing mode today. Honestly, most of the time, the reason I stream sitting down is because my camera is not attached to my desk. My camera's on a tripod behind my desk. And it's always a bit of a pain to adjust the camera. But I decided today that I just wanted to stay standing, so I went through the hassle. Okay, so that's Team TwilioQuest. Training is Craig and Emily. And then institutional edu, that's our students and teacher stuff, that is me. Now, Surly said it would be great to talk to the teams who worked on TwilioQuest. So obviously the main team that works on TwilioQuest is Kerry, Ryan, and Nicole. they are the people who, primarily are plugging away at TwilioQuest every day. The rest of us still input into TwilioQuest. So Craig, for example, designed a lot of the the educational content that went into the Tower of Infinite Knowledge, right? So the Tower of Infinite Knowledge, the new set of levels to deal with developer fundamentals, to teach small skills that people lack. That was Craig's, the content that's covered in there, and the short videos that are the underpinning for every level. That is Craig's brainchild. And Craig and Emily are right now working on a really interesting new piece, new TwilioQuest level with Nicole, and obviously then with support from Ryan and Kerry. A really interesting new TwilioQuest level that's completely new. So they are not. Their day-to-day is running Superclass and level ups and the Signal developer keynote, but they do also work on TwilioQuest, and that's kind of the same with me. I am primarily focused on making sure our students and our teachers have a really great time and helping them level up with all of the things that Twilio offers people in education, and running things like field operators. Shout out Tranjeev. But as well as that, there are parts of that overlap with our content, right? So I did a lot of the objective design for the Tower of it's not the Tower of Open Source, Tower of Infinite Knowledge, for Tower of Infinite Knowledge, right? And because I'm the person who is on the Discord a lot of the time, raise a lot of other points of our content. So we don't have the pleasure of working on TwilioQuest as much every day, but everyone you see on this channel probably touches TwilioQuest. But I do definitely agree. It is always super interesting to have the core TwilioQuest team on here. I've said it a bunch of times, and I think, I don't know if she's still watching, that whenever I watch Kerry's art stream, my mind is blown. Whenever I see one of Nicole's just general outputs about how she's thinking about I think the one recently, which we kind of appreciated last week on the stream, was the API Academy Part 3 is one of the larger pieces of content that has been worked on while Nicole has been here, and just how much more rich that world feels. There's posters, there's NPCs, there's these podiums, there's so many more just interactables, yes, but also the writing and the depth of the content in there is so much more, and having the artifacts that Nicole shared and putting that all together were incredible, and then Ryan manages so many aspects. Hey Kerry, sorry, I'm just going to continue to embarrass you on stream. Also, everyone check out, Kerry has a cool artist badge now. Twitch added artist badges, which is neat. So yeah, definitely agreed, and it's really great to hear, Surly, that you would like to hear more actual stuff about TwilioQuest's development. I think that's one of the things that has been hard for Ryan to do in the dev streams. That was the original intention of the dev stream. But as Ryan being the sole person on that stream, it's been hard for him week in, week out to bring something interesting to work on the stream. So I think pivoting this into something that's more dev diaries, or hey, let's hear about how this part of the game is put together, and drawing on more of the crew would be a good way of bringing that segment back. It needs to be an 8-bit badge. I don't know if we can customize that badge. Yeah, that's one of Twitch's default badges, the moderator badge or the prime badge. I don't know if we can customize it. I'll have a look at that though. See if we can. Sorry, for some reason I decided to use. I might have talked about this mug on stream before. Once upon a time. Okay, Right, I've got 2 GitHub mugs in front of me today, right? Behold, a normal teacup, a normal mug. Your typical aspect ratio for a mug. It is a GitHub cup, it has a GitHub logo on it. But once upon a time, GitHub made this, which is just a cereal bowl with a handle. It's a ludicrous aspect ratio for a mug. It's too short, it's too wide, and it requires 2 hands to drink from. So I apologise as I have to stop to drink my bucket of tea. Yes, Tranjury, there's a Git tub. It is definitely a Git tub. It is the thing with this one is it has a contribution graph on it that says GitHub, and my headcanon for how this works is that the GitHub design team literally like sent their merch people this art, and they just said like, we don't care how you do it, fit this on a mug. And they said okay, and that's how this happened. It's absurd. Okay, so that is the team. Yeah, Dogs, that's just that does that. So Kerry says, I use those kind of mugs for lattes, but I feel like the drink also gets colder fast in them. Like, the laws of physics say that tracks, right? Because like there's more surface area to evaporate, right? Like if you want to keep your temperature for longer, you need a really tall and thin mug to prevent the surface area. So physically, I think that's correct. Code Nut Girls drinking out the TwilioQuest mug. I love the TwilioQuest mugs. They're my only beef with the TwilioQuest mugs is the cork bottom means you can't put them in dishwashers. And so there's always a long time between circulation of my TwilioQuest mugs because I just leave them on the side forever because I can't bother to wash them. Really, the moral of the story here is I need to send myself more TwilioQuest mugs. Tranjeev, what do you mean lucky you? Do you not have a TwilioQuest mug? Have I really... I don't understand how you don't have a TwilioQuest mug. Okay, Tranjeev, Discord me. Message me on Discord. We will get you a TwilioQuest mug. Memphis, I feel like I missed something. What are you talking about? It sounds really interesting, but I have no idea what that message was in reply to. Oh, I see. Got it. Okay. Surly, we can fix that. We have had a long history. Well, we've had multiple different swag providers over the years, and the one we've had now for a while has gotten pretty good. And when I say it's gotten pretty good, I mean like we're really going all over the place today. So this has taken up an unfortunate amount of my life. When you work at a big company that does swag, you will have a swag provider who will have like a warehouse that all your swag lives in, and they'll send it out for you. And depending on what your swag is and where they're sending it, they will have to include some information for customs, right? Like these things. We send out a weird selection of stuff like mugs and stickers and that kind of stuff. And whenever you get a new swag provider, it takes a little bit for them to like work out the documentation such that it gets accepted by customs easily wherever it is. And I feel like we're in a good place right now where like the prime one that I will talk about, and Chiranjeev knows this, we talk about this a lot, or we have spoken about this a lot. Customs in India are very stringent and very strict and very precise, and it has traditionally been really difficult to send stuff to India, and now we've got that nailed. Like, stuff arrives flawlessly and within like 3 days. And India's like the hardest country that I ship stuff to. So I believe we can get you stuff, Surly. I have faith. Obviously, being in the UK, we have issues with the fact there's constant postal strikes, but yeah, we'll work it out. Code and That Girl, there are original TwilioQuest shirts left. We actually have started producing them again because we preferred that design to the new design. This is now a swag stream. Okay, let me write these down. Let me write these down. So, Code and That Girl, I have your email. So I will follow up about your shirt. Also, wasn't it me? Did I send you your mug? I might already have your address. Surly, Surly, where are we in touch? Are you on our Discord? Surly, can you find me somewhere on the internet and send me the best place to get your address from you? And then Tranjeev, I'll message you on Discord about your mug. Yes, the for Global Teaching Week or something. Okay, would anyone else like anything whilst I'm being Santa Claus on stream? Yeah, I think we've spoken on Twitter, Surly. My Twitter account is kind of like downplayed at the moment, but I will log in just to check my messages for you. Or on our Discord. Message me any of those places. Okay. Merry Christmas, everyone. All right. Onwards. Twilio jacket. What, you mean like a track jacket, Tranjeev? Unfortunately, I can't send you a jacket. I can't send you a jacket. I mean, I can send you... You're very close to being rank 4 in the Field Operators program, Tranjeev. And there is a jacket then. Sully, even I don't have those. Okay, anyway, let's go back to what we were doing. So this is the team. Tranjeev says when we'll get the new assignments. Good question, Tranjeev. Good question. Probably will still be... So for folks who don't know, Tranjeev is asking about Field Operators. Field Operators is a program we run for students. It's kind of like a professional development program. We give them like resources to learn a bunch of useful skills and help their communities. And then they earn XP by completing assignments that demonstrate that they've learned those skills. I have been promising / working on an overhauled series of assignments since like October, and unfortunately other things keep occurring, and will continue to occur for a little bit yet. I don't want to open the applications until the new assignments are out, Tranjeev, because I think it'll be really confusing for the new applicants, and also B, because the application part, the assignment path is quite short at the moment. Hopefully I'll be able to get back to it again soon. But I will send out as soon as they're ready. We'll open the applications again, and I will send out an email. Code Black Girl, they have to. We are very, very low requirements for field operators. The main one, which will probably be relevant for you if you're asking on behalf of your classes, is they do have to be over the age of 18. So they have to be a student in a university or college or school or boot camp over the age of 18. If you go through Operator Academy, our online course, which is also currently not open, if you go through Operator Academy, you can also enroll. Yes, you have to be a student in an educational institution somewhere over the age of 18. Okay. Streaming schedule. So, what we are thinking for 2023, as I said, is seasons, but we want to continue having the 4-week rota. Oh, that's not a line. We want to continue having the 4-week rota. Because streaming every week is tough when your job isn't to be a streamer. And as I said, things will be in seasons, so this will change. But currently, what it's looking like the next group of streams will be is Press X to Learn is gonna keep going in its current form, at least for a bit. Then we're gonna have on the last Thursday, it's going to be 1 second. Let me get the correct name. The last Thursday, I think it was Leftover Bits. This might be incorrect. I'm sorry, Craig, if it is. So the last Thursday is going to be Craig and Emily. Hang on a second. Joe, Ryan, Craig, Emily. Oh, loads of questions. Tranchief, is a new Operator Academy course under planning in 2023? Yep. So, this is really just chaos stream today. To rewind, Operator Academy, for those who haven't experienced it, Operator Academy is our solution to hey, I want to learn from TwilioQuest, but it's hard or scary to learn on my own, or I struggle to motivate myself, or I find TwilioQuest a bit too hard. So what we did was we made a 6-week course where that's a good point, Tranjeev. We made a 6-week course where an instructor-led course where we put a curriculum on top of TwilioQuest, and we said we're going to do these levels in this order, and by the end of it, build a project with what we've learned, and you'll know X, Y, Z, right? And that was run online. We've run 2 of them now, both last year, one in August, one in November, and for about 500 students total. And it's a lot of fun. We do the lessons. We did the lessons live on Twitch on Mondays. We use the same. So I described field operators in the assignment system. We use the same software for Operator Academy. So students have tasks that they do throughout the week on TwilioQuest and on our Discord. And at the end, everyone gets we have a graduation ceremony that happens in TwilioQuest. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Both of the sessions we've run so far have been JavaScript focused and have been focused on learning about Express web applications. What we have learned from doing those is that so we did that because Twilio is a REST API, right? And Express is kind of the easiest way to get going with Twilio if you're in JavaScript land, and TwilioQuest favors JavaScript for a whole bunch of reasons. What we've learned from that, I think, is that it would be basically like the people who did Operator Academy fell into 2 camps. Either Operator Academy was still way too hard. They were new to programming, and what they actually would have wanted was like 6 weeks basic programming rather than let's learn JavaScript as if you already know another programming language, and then let's learn about web applications. They would have wanted 6 weeks, really basic, what is variables, what are for loops, what are if statements kind of stuff. Or on the other side, we had people for whom Operator Academy was far too easy, and what they really wanted was like, hey, I want to build like a proper production web application. So for Operator Academy this year, next up in terms of the next Operator Academy we're running is probably more likely to be that more basic version, because we had more of those students. We had a lot more people for whom it was their first experience coding, and because that content is in TwilioQuest. So again, like Operator Academy wants to use TwilioQuest, right? Like we want it to be a new way to play and experience TwilioQuest with other people, and it's currently easier to take the current JavaScript content and to explain the gaps and to make that into a basic programming course than it is to imagine all this extra stuff that's not in the game on top of it. So basically the next Operator Academy is probably going to be a JavaScript, like a learn to code with JavaScript one. We're doing the bare basics. We'll be talking a lot about, what even is a programming language? Because one of the most interesting sets of confusions that came up a lot in the October Operator Academy was people not understanding the difference between expressions and statements, which isn't something that the JavaScript mission currently teaches. But it caused a lot of people problems. And so we kind of, that's kind of the direction we'll be going in for the next one. Hope that answers that question. So there we go. I have accidentally done an edu stream. Welcome to accidental edu stream 3 weeks early. Tranjeev, you have a lot of requests today. I'm gonna make a column. Hang on. We've got to capture these amazing requests. And actually, I'm not gonna victimize you purely. Chat requests. Here we go. Okay, so we've had TQ team streams Surly. We've got new FO assignments. Sorry, I can't fit your whole name in there. Hey, Nicole. Welcome to the what is increasingly falling off the rails as we go. We're just derailing at high speed. TQ hackathons. There you go. I'm tracking all your requests, Ranjiv. Okay. Right. Back to streaming. So yeah, what our next schedule is looking like is, so Press X to Learn will continue. We are going to move to that seasonally format, as I said, so that we can plan a bit better. Hey, Timu's here as well. God, everyone's here. Come on in, everyone. This is a real regulars hour today. Okay, leftover bits. That's the first of the new streams. So leftover bits, and I'm not at all certain that's the title. Let me actually go check what the title was, because the title was really good. Let me actually check what that title was. I don't want to do Craig's title misjustice. Into the bits. It was Into the Bits. Oops. Ugh. Help! I can't get out of this line. Oh no, I'm trapped in the line. There we go. Into the Bits. So what that is Superclass. So where does Superclass live? Is that a thing that exists on the internet? Nope. Events? Yes, here we go. Superclass is a interactive training that Twilio Education runs. It's run by Craig and Emily, and it is, it's a training to help developers learn how to use Twilio, basically. And it runs at the same time every month, I believe. I think it runs. I think it was like the second Thursday or the third Thursday of every month. And Craig and Emily wanted to do a stream the following Tuesday. So Superclass runs, and then they want to do a stream the following Tuesday to go a bit more in depth on some stuff. And so that's what Into the Bits will be. So Into the Bits will be a companion to Superclass that will run here on TwilioQuest Tuesday in the last week of the month. And I don't know the exact scheduling of these yet. We're going to have another to be titled Ryan stream, which is your fault, Surly, actually. Is some JS game development with Ryan. That was the proposal for that. So, again, just to throw back to the start of the stream, a couple of weeks ago on the dev stream, Ryan just made like a fun TwilioQuest themed JavaScript game, and enjoyed doing that, and was useful. And that one was vaguely TwilioQuest themed thanks to the contributions of Surly. But the idea here is to do more JavaScript game development out in the open, because that's, TwilioQuest is a JavaScript game. We use a common JavaScript game engine that fits in with teaching people extensions and that kind of stuff. But to make more things in the TwilioQuest universe, more small utilities in the TwilioQuest land, more small games in TwilioQuest land, and that being another stream segment. I think Tranjiv has answered this, but Tiwi said, is there an advanced Operator Academy in the works? So yes, the next one will be a more basic Operator Academy, Tiwi. But I was explaining that from Operator Academy, we basically saw two extremes. We saw people who needed really foundational how to program content, and people who wanted really advanced, like production ready web apps content. we are going to focus on the other one, the basic one, to start with, because that's like more where TwilioQuest is at the moment. And there's already things like Superclass for the more advanced stuff. But it is in mind. Like we did see those two clear needs, but we're going to be on the more basic side to begin with. Okay, so that's that one, and I don't know it will be in this slot. We don't know the title of this one. We don't know what week it will be, but there will be probably some live stream JavaScript game action happening at some point. And then the other segment we have at the moment is a bit of a weird one, if we're honest. This was one that I gave as an example that everyone ended up liking, which is esolangs. Esoteric languages. So this is purely a me thing. Tranji says it can be fit by the derailed TQ stream. Yeah, I mean we could definitely just do like a and I think this fits into like, I'm going to come over here. So the one that like Surly was talking about, which is like, I think we could definitely have like TQ dev diaries, which is just like, an indeterminate length dev chat. So we've been talking, here's the thing, chat. We've been talking a lot about like, does everything we do need to be on Twitch? Or in particular, should we be doing some stuff on Discord? So, we've done a couple of like Discord office hours. We've done a couple of Operator Academy happens on Discord a lot of the time, and it's mixed bag. Sometimes people show up, sometimes people don't. And so if we were talking about something like TwilioQuest Dev Diaries, where like it's just the team hanging out talking about how TwilioQuest is made and answering questions, it would probably more likely get viewers here on Twitch, but it feels like it would be better on Discord because you'd be able to interact, right? Yes, Surly, it was good stuff. You weren't taking the blame. It was good. It was all good things, and I'm jealous of your pie. What kind of pie is it? What's what filling we're working with here? As someone who is British but no longer lives in the UK, I'm often asked what I miss about the UK, and honest to God, without a hint of stream entertainment or irony or lying to you, British pies are in my top 10 things I miss from the UK. No other country can make a pie. It's just not a thing they can do. So I hope your mum enjoys that pie. The finest pies in the land. Chicken and mushroom pie, very good, very good. Ledger of tomatoes, even like GitHub. Australian pies are pretty good, really, Nicole. Well, I mean that makes sense, right? Like, I feel like Australia and Canada kind of get like a pass on good pies, and also obviously it depends kind of like what you're thinking of as a pie. I mean, Tranjeev and I have spoken in this chat before about samosas, and my love for samosas, and ultimately that's because samosas are also just good pies, right? They are also just good pies. You kind of do though, Tranjeev. Like a samosa is a pie, kind of. Like the form factor's a bit different, but it has all the essential qualities of a pie. Also, like pies are like in my top 10 things I miss about Britain, but again, it has to be clarified. The only reason that like pies are in there is because pies are one of the few pieces of British food that isn't absolutely cursed. British food in general, absolutely terrible. Indian food in general, absolutely incredible. Samosas are S-tier food. Yeah. Okay, so TQ Dev Diaries. That's in the idea bank. I'm calling this the idea bank. Idea bank. TQ Dev Diaries we can definitely talk about. So isolangs. So Memphis got it in one. Memphis said emoji code. So the idea is Cedric's Adventures in Isoland. For those of you who don't know, isolangs stand for esoteric programming languages. Esoteric programming languages are programming languages that are stupid, is the easiest way to put it. They are languages that are not practical. They're often toys or experiments or just silly. For example, there's a big joke language list, like the programming language, which is all hashes. You might be familiar with Brainfuck, Whitespace. Actually, is Whitespace on this list? Whitespace is my favorite for a really great reason. Whitespace. Are they really claiming that Whitespace isn't a joke language? There we go, it's Whitespace. So Whitespace is a programming language entirely where you write code entirely with spaces and tabs. Entirely with spaces and tabs, which is pretty wild. So the idea for the stream, so I really like isolangs. I think they're really fun, and part of that is because I'm a programming languages nerd. And in particular, I really like doing serious things that real developers do that shouldn't be done in esoteric programming languages in esoteric programming languages. So that's the idea for this one. Will just be us exploring isolangs and having some fun with some isolangs. So that is the other one that's on the table. Now, as I said, the whole point of the 2023 schedule is to be flexible, is to have some fun with things, and to move on quickly if it's not fun. So this is one where isolangs will definitely be doing a seasonal thing. So we'll say like, hey, we're going to do 4 weeks of this weird language, and then we'll move on. So that's what's looking like going to be our schedule for this quarter, at least for the next 4. So each of these shows will be 4 shows each, and then they're once a month. So for the next 4 months, essentially. This third, in fact, this semester, or trimester, looks like it will be these shows. Tranju says, please spend some time with the field operators. They chat us in message in ages. Yes, similar reasons to the assignments. Actually, our Discord in general has been very quiet recently. Discord is another thing that's going to have some work done on it in 2023. Memphis here in chat did some great work with us over the summer, moving things around. Actually, while Memphis is in chat, I guess this is the best time to fill this idea. Memphis, I'm kind of thinking of going like hard in the opposite direction to what we did over the summer and actually just deleting most of the channels. So for those of you who don't use it, Discord is a chat application, and in particular, the TwilioQuest Discord is like the primary way that the TwilioQuest Discord gets used is people who need help with the game. And we have wanted it to be more than that. We've wanted it to be, kind of like a community space where folks who are interested in learning to code or learning, Twilio or other things that Twilio Education do come and hang out in. And it has been hard to do that in a way that hasn't impacted the support experience, I think. Zillion, oh my god, it is truly an all-regular stream. Literally everyone is here today. Great to see you, Zillion. Hope you're doing well. So it has been hard to kind of like make that a thriving community space in a way that doesn't impact the support requests. So a great example of this is like at the moment we have lots of channels in there, right? We have actually let me bring it up. No, I can't bring it up because I need to log into a different account. Oh, Tiwu, don't worry. So first up, if we delete any channels, we never actually delete channels. We move them to a archive tab at the bottom. So nothing ever actually gets deleted. They just get hidden. So anything you've saved will still be there. Zenit says, I'm late today. What's today's topic? Chat, what is today's topic? What even is the topic? What are we doing? We're mainly talking about what we're doing on stream for 2023, Zillion. yeah, so we were originally talking about what we're going to do on stream for 2023. Along the way, we've spoken about Field Operator, we've spoken about Operator Academy, we've spoken about who's on the TwilioQuest education team, we've spoken about swag. Everyone here wants swag. We've spoken about Surly Dev's mum's pie. We've spoken about a laundry list of things that Chiranjeev wants. Yeah, a lot of things. And it's been delightful. I've had a great time. Thank you all for being here. Honestly, this is the best way this could have gone. When I rocked up today being like, oh, there'll be a stream. And you were all like, there will be a stream, Joe. We have things to say. We spoke about the desk. Yeah, Chiranjeev, because he's been measuring the precise proportions of my background, noticed that I have an adjustable height desk. He's the first one to notice that, and so he wins the prize. The other Easter eggs I've hidden have not yet been discovered. So our Discord, so Memphis said that fewer channels makes sense. The trend we went over when implementing those changes has mostly stayed the same. So, okay, now we're really going off the rails, Memphis. If I address that, we'll talk about that in a minute. Right, okay, I've got like a stack of topics. It's like 4 deep now. Zillion, we're doing swag for the regulars today, so I'll follow up with you on Discord. We'll get this sorted. It's a crime that you don't have swag. Okay, we'll do Discord and then we'll talk about the spoon. Right, so Memphis mentioned a trend on Discord. So, yeah, our Discord goes through peaks and troughs. So I said the main way that users use our Discord is as a support channel. We have wanted, so they come in, they get help with TwilioQuest and then they leave. And so the big question for us has been like, should there be more, right? We would like to think that we are a place where people can, get help throughout their whole coding journey. But there's so many places to do that, and there's so many ways to do that. And there's so many people who, I guess, have a lot more time for that particular purpose. Whereas, we're very Twilio content and TwilioQuest content focused in what we can deliver. That although we had that ambition, I don't think we have been able to get the momentum in the Discord spaces that we wanted to. And so we want to... Well, I'm thinking of, this is literally the first time I mentioned it. So my colleagues on the team who are watching, let me know what you think as well. I am currently thinking that the Discord would be better served by cutting back the amount of channels a lot. Because one of the problems we see on the Discord at the moment is when people have a question, they don't know where to ask. And so they ask the same question in like 6 channels. So like we get asked in mission help, we get asked in off topic, we get asked in portfolio review, we get asked in like the Operator Academy channels. And so I want to essentially cut the channels all the way back, get rid of so we have help channels for different TwilioQuest features like bug reports, teams and operations extensions, flatten that to one help channel. And this is where Tiwu is going to shout at me. I would like to flatten it to a forum. I would like to reduce all of the help channels to one Discord forum. I'm just going to duck while Tiwu throws things at the screen. And that will allow people to categorize their asks. Chiranjeev's also unhappy. And then we will cut back on a lot of the community channels that have been less popular. So see, everyone says they don't like the forum, but like, okay, I have 2 pieces of okay, actually I have 3 pieces of evidence in favor of the forums. In favor of the forum, I have some thoughts. Okay, I'm bringing over my Discord. This is my Discord on my personal account. I apologize for anything that comes up that you shouldn't see. Right, first up chat, you see this? People keep creating threads in the help channel. People keep creating threads. This is like the 3rd thread this month, right? People keep creating threads. You can see there's more active threads here. So if they're creating threads anyway, why don't they have them in the forum? They should have the forum. Secondly, loads of other big developer Discords have started using forums now. Unfortunately, I left a bunch of Discords the other day, so I can't show you the ones I mean. But the Vite Discord, the Python Discord, the Vue.js Discord, the Svelte Discord, even Factor, which is a programming language that I like that no one else in the world uses. Even Factor is using forums. Everyone is using forums now, and it looks like it's working really well. And we get a lot of questions in the forum, even like 3 days ago, 11 days ago. I mean, it's not as much as our mission help channel, but we do get questions in our forum. So I think we will try it. I think it will ultimately make it so that the people who ask for help get answered at a higher quality and can find their answers, because that's another problem we have a lot, is someone will come in. So people don't play TwilioQuest every day, right? What happens quite a lot of the time is someone comes in, like someone plays TwilioQuest on a Saturday, they come in, they ask their question, and then because they're stuck, they walk away from the game. So they ask their question and then they walk away, and then they come back the next Saturday, they play again, and they have to try and find their answer, or like the answer that the answer that was given to them in the scrollback chat. And so I think the forum will help in a number of ways. I don't know if that command works, but I'll put it in chat. Twil.io TQ Discord. There you go. Oh yeah, we can definitely do that, Tranjeev. I think if we moved to a forum, there's a couple of pieces of content that I'd want to do. So if we change our Discord, there's a couple of pieces of content I'd want to do. So, the number one piece of content that I want to do for the Discord, but also in general, I want to do a 5-minute video on how to ask questions on the internet. Just how to ask questions on the internet would be... Okay, Surly, I'm kind of terrified by what you just did, because I didn't even know we had a bot installed on this channel, let alone that you had permissions to set commands on the bot. So, I mean, you're a moderator, so it makes sense. I'm guessing this is like things that were on the channel from before my time, but that's good to know. I'm glad you know how our channel works, Surly, because I don't, apparently. So I want to do like a 5-minute video on how to ask questions on the internet. And here's what I want that video. Here we go. We're going to a new page. We're going to a new part of the canvas. A fun thing, chat. What we're using right now is Excalidraw. It's a whiteboard app. I have never. It's persistent. It saves in your local storage. I have never deleted anything from this Excalidraw. I just go to a new blank space every time. And so like these are all different like workshops that I've done over the course of the year, and it just like I'm just going to keep on growing it. Anyway, so how to ask questions on the internet. Right, so here's some common problems we have on the TwilioQuest Discord. So we have okay, first up, the easy one, Discord etiquette, right? People don't know how Discord works. So we have like same question, multiple channels. We have not using code blocks. We have tagging moderators. Yeah, so many times. Wait, hang on. Loads of things happened in chat, and I've completely. Oh, I see. Surly's having fun with the command. Tiwi says, "What about a Datcord category labeled help, and then each channel? Oh, a Discord category labeled help, and then each channel named after an aspect of the server." Tiwi, that's basically what we have now. That's essentially the exact layout we have now. But the problem is people don't know how to. Like, okay, so this is part of this Discord etiquette problem on the thing on the questions on the internet. So that's great if you know how Discord works. But new Discord users are so overwhelmed by the categories and by the channels. as particularly Discord users who have used Slack or Microsoft Teams before, because in every other chat application that has channels, you are not in all of the channels by default, right? You join channels, and Discord, they're all there, and it's not, even we've tried numerous different naming schemes on the Discord server, and it doesn't solve the problem. So what we have now is like, people don't know exactly where to ask, and because they don't understand channels somehow, they ask the same question in multiple channels at the same time, which makes it impossible to answer because you're answering in multiple places. So that's one thing I want to cover. Tagging moderators is another one. So the great thing about any community space is like, it's not just the Twilio team who will answer, right? But sometimes people will join, see our names in the sidebar, and they'll DM us rather than typing it in the channel. So that's another one. So that's one block of stuff. The other block of stuff is just like knowing what information is useful. So this is the most common and most important one. So like basically every single help request in the TwilioQuest Discord starts with me or someone else asking someone to share their code, because they will always come in saying, this, I can't get past this Twilio objective, or I'm getting this message, or this one doesn't work, and they'll share a screenshot of the failure, but they never show us how they got to the failure. And that's the other one that happens a lot. Sometimes they don't share the error message. There's like, we don't know even sometimes what objective they're doing. Yes, Tranchief does a lot of great answering in our Discord. So this is a whole category of things, like basically what this part of the video will be is kind of almost actually like a remote working 101, because really what this is about is context, right? Like this is about the fact that like we can't see your screen, right? This is what this whole bit is about. And so this is like a whole thing. This is what most of the video will be about, and just like what information you need to share for people to be able to help you. I think another part, which might come under Discord etiquette, but another part is like patience. So like people don't understand time zones. I'm not even joking with this. We had a user come on a couple of weeks ago who was really frustrated, and they were tagging all kinds of people. But it was like literally like they were on a weird time zone, and like literally no one was awake, and it was fine. Like when I logged on, I was like, oh hey, I'm really happy to help. Sorry for the delay. Like we were all asleep, and they literally said like, it hadn't occurred to me that you wouldn't be in my country, right? So we want to teach people about just what the expectation is, like and I think this is important to cover, because a lot of problems that people have when they first start asking questions on the internet is like old timers in a space, or like people who have been in the space a long time, giving them grief, or like perceiving them to be a bad actor. And I think this is a big contributor to it. Oh, Memphis, that button sees loads of use. Like the first couple of weeks, especially after you use that. So fun story about this. So Memphis is saying there's a copy code button. So in TwilioQuest now, if you fail an objective, there's a button to get a block of debug information out of TwilioQuest that you can post into our Discord to get help. The fun story about this is I didn't know that this feature got added, right? I was doing Operator Academy or something at the time, so I was completely oblivious. I didn't know it got added. But what I saw in Discord is suddenly all of these question askers were providing really useful information. And what I thought had happened, Memphis, was that for some reason, everyone had just started reading our welcome post properly. Because in our welcome post, we have a list of like things that would be really helpful for us to know. And I thought that everyone had just started reading it out of nowhere. But it turns out, and I mentioned it one day, I mentioned it to Ryan, I think. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's the debug button. And I had no idea. But yes, it is really useful. People do use it. Yes, Darksessa says when users DM us too, they often assume anyone with the dev role can help. Yeah, totally true. And this is also like, again, this comes to the many roles of the team. Like, up until literally my stream 2 weeks ago, I couldn't help with API Academy Part 3 questions, right? Just because I didn't know. I hadn't played that mission. And yeah, we don't all know the same stuff, and the community is often ahead of us, which is why we have that space. I will ask you how to place a pixel every day, Gary. Yeah, so I think this video would be really useful, and I think we need this to revamp our Discord a bit. The other it's kind of a corollary. How do you say this word? How do you say? Is that how you spell it? That one. How do you say this word?
Corollary.
Corollary? Okay. It's one of those. So this is like kind of a corollary to this, which is like, still can't spell it. Which is that people don't read errors. So I have a whole angry thing about this at the moment. So tutorials, chat. Tutorials on the internet, especially coding tutorials, what they do is they say, today we're going to learn how to do XYZ. Here is some code. Enter this into your terminal. Look, it did XYZ. None of those tutorials ever say, and if you see this error or this error, here are some things that might be wrong. Or if this happens, this is what that means. They only ever give you the happy path and the success cases. And when a student following one of those tutorials encounters an error, the way to get out of it is to follow the tutorial again and do it right this time, right? There's never any problem solving or solving tutorials. And what this has resulted in my opinion, is basically training people to not look at their error messages. And we see this in TwilioQuest all the time. Like, I will literally have students who will send me an error message, and I will say to them, like, hey, the solution is in the error message. The error message is telling you what to do. Read this line and do what it says. And then they'll do something and they'll get another error message and they'll send me that screenshot and they'll say the error message hasn't changed. And I would say, like, it's literally entirely different text. Like, it's a new error message. But all they are seeing, because they've been trained by tutorials to not read error messages, all they are seeing is a big wall of red text. And they go, that means bad, ask for help, right? And so I really want us to do some content about this. And I think Discord is kind of the place to start doing this. Oh no, what's this drive? Why is there a drive link? What is happening? Tranchi, what are these screenshots? Oh, I see. This is information. Right. So this is you demonstrating how to ask a question by providing all the information. Yes, exactly. That's a great demonstration. Yeah, actually, that's a good point, Tranji. That's actually a very good point. Is we should have, well, first of all, you've got some stuff in there. So like logs is a good one. The other thing, and I had to put this in Operator Academy, screenshots, not photos. The amount of camera photos of screens I get is maddening. Study Dev said a couple years ago I had the idea of streaming, so I registered the Twitch account code by mistakes because I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, and honestly, that is like my favorite part about doing code on stream. So like I am like a computer scientist by education. I'm a developer by hobby and like kind of part of my job, but like my 9 to 5 is not sitting down writing code, right? I would not be good at that at the moment. I'm sure I'd get better if I did it a lot, but like I am not a senior level developer, right? Like the parts of my job that I do are not. I don't have this job because I can write code. But I really enjoy when I do code on stream. I really enjoy it because, like, that aspect of failing on stream. When I'm doing it on my own, when I'm coding on my own, that failure is frustrating. When I do it on stream, it is educational, right? And so that's part of why I think I enjoy coding more on stream than I do personally. But yeah, so you should 100% do that, and that's a great handle, Surly. That's a great handle. Yes, that's a very good point, Tibu. And this comes down to it as well about how to and what this content should include is like is the anatomy of an error message, because particularly in JavaScript, any language with stack traces, like there'll be different parts of the error message, some that address, like the line in your code that is the problem, and some which address, the stack and the stack trace. And it's before you know which part is important, it's hard to find it. And so I think that's also like something that's undertaught. And so there needs to be like chat. We need to make the school of failure. We're going to make the school of failure, which is just going to be an enormous GitHub repo full of broken programs that all produce really interesting error messages. And the content is how to solve all those error messages. Yes, 100%. And thank you, Code That Girl. It's very kind. Ryan and I are always happy to be bumbling fools on stream. So last week the stream was a replay of the Press X to Learn, where we played Human Resource Machine, and I completely forgot until that stream started that was the stream where we got really stuck on one problem where our solution needed to be one line shorter than it was, and we couldn't figure it out for about 60 minutes. Yeah, and this is also, Memphis, this is a great point, that the error is not necessarily what you expect. And this is something that, and I'm sure Code Like Girl will be familiar with this. This is something that, so on Press X to Learn, on Papers We Love last Thursday, we had Heidi, Felina, who created Heidi, come and talk to us. And so Heidi is an educational language built by Felina Hermans here in the Netherlands. And it's a language for the classroom. But one of the things that Heidi is trying to do is be gradual. So it starts off with a very simple syntax, and as the student advances, it adds syntax until it's the same as Python. And the reason for this is, like, Felina's whole point is, like, when you are first learning to code, you are having to learn and engage in so many different things and so many different mental activities, right? So, like, say, for example, you are doing your literal first line of code and you're learning Hello World. If you just imagine the exercises you are doing there, you are learning the syntax, like you're trying to type this line that has to be correct, otherwise the compiler screams. You are trying to type that correctly. So you're trying to, type print or console.log bracket speech mark hello world speech mark close bracket. And one of the really interesting things that Felina found, and is in the paper for the academic paper for Heidi, is if you look at language acquisition in children, so how children learn natural languages like speech, like English, French, etc., when they start learning punctuation very late, and the last pieces of punctuation that a child learns are are colons and brackets, which are both pieces of punctuation that are very commonly used in programming languages. So, first of all, you're trying to learn how to type this thing, but then you're also trying to learn what all these things mean. Like console.log, that's a thing that means something, and these brackets mean something, and these speech marks mean something. And then you're learning how to run that code and the tools to write that code. And it's like so much stuff. And then, as Memphis is saying, when you do then run into a problem, because there's so much stuff there, the problem could be in any one of those processes. It could be the syntax is wrong. It could be you've called the wrong keyword. It could be you haven't run the right command to run the code. It could be the file's not where you thought you saved it. Like, so many places that it could explode that you don't anticipate. And so, like, that's also why I think it's really important to talk about error messages, is because the other part of this is like on these error messages is not just like the error message itself, but like what makes error messages. Like, in this leaning pile of software that students are balancing on top of to learn to code, what are the parts in that can spit out an error? How do you tell them apart, and what one's what, right? So I think that's a big part of it as well. Okay, we have to wrap up. So before I do, Memphis asked about this, what he called a spatula, which is very ungenerous. This, I'll have you know, is a cooking spoon. And I carved this cooking spoon. As well as the smaller spoon. I do wood carving. It's my way of getting off a computer. And I carve spoons in particular. All I make is spoons. That's the only thing I make. I just make loads of spoons. And particular problem with spoons, so I follow the Swedish carving tradition called slöjd. I can't pronounce it. It's a Swedish word. And that doesn't allow you to use sandpaper. You get a smooth finish with a very sharp knife. But sharpening knives is hard, and so I never finish my knives because I can't be bothered to sharpen. So I always leave them in kind of a... I never finish my spoons. So I always leave them in a kind of rough state. And then I drop them on the floor. So there you go. That's what that was. John Jeeves asked, how's my dog? Ernie is okay. Ernie has a bad paw at the moment, but otherwise he is fine. He is just fine. No, so it's not rough in that way, Memphis. There's no sharp edges. It's just more facets than there should be, if that makes sense. So it's like in spoon carving, you don't want a high polygon model. You want a low polygon model, and I tend to leave them very high polygon. Okay, well, thank you all for joining me on this magical tour of just about literally everything. The key thing to take away from this is that there will be a new stream schedule here on TwilioQuest Tuesday in 2023, probably starting this month. We will continue on a weekly rotating schedule on a monthly basis. But there'll be some new shows slotted in, and those shows will periodically change. The other big part of this is that we're going to be trying to communicate that a lot better. Kerry has taken over our social handles and is doing a wonderful job. You may have already noticed the wonderful content and the polls and the various questions that have been asked on there. So as we plan these seasons of these new shows, we'll be announcing them over on our Twitter and the newsletter and our other places and our Discord. Press X to Learn is on next week and is unchanged. Next week, we will be playing a weird collection of games, starting with the SQL Murder Mystery. Colonel says, I want a Joe spoon. There's a big queue. Lots of people have asked me to make them spoons, but I'm too self-conscious to ever actually send them. Oh, good night, Chanjeev. It took me a while to realise what you were saying. Okay, thank you all. This has been genuinely so much fun. Thank you for hanging out in chat. Thank you for making this piece of chaos so delightful. We will see you next Tuesday for Press X to Learn. Have a good night, morning, rest of your day, wherever you are. Bye-bye.